Just because you want somebody to be great doesn't make it so. Just because you want something to go right doesn't mean that it happens that way. Just because you don't want yet another quarterback for the Chicago Bears to suck doesn't mean that that's not ultimately true. And it doesn't make you a bad person to admit it. Trubisky is terrible. How much more do you need to see to comprehend that, to get that, to grasp that? It doesn't make you a bad fan to say so. It doesn't make you a bad person for saying so. It doesn't mean you're being mean to Mitchell Trubisky. It doesn't mean any of that crap. If you choose to continue to disconnect yourself from the obvious reality smacking you square in the frickin' face, then that's a you problem. Because reality is right there. And it's trying to tell you, Trubisky is terrible. He's a bum. He's a bust. The quicker you own that and accept that, the better off things will be for all parties. That's where we're at now. Trubisky, the terrible. The dude is shits. And you might be saying to yourself, well, Jeff, you're not even halfway through his third season and you're already ready to throw in the towel? Yes. And you should too. How much more do you need to see in order to get it through your skulls that this guy doesn't have it? Independent of any other quarterback, independent of any other quarterback that was in the same draft class, judging him solely on the merits of his performance and what you see and the traits and characteristics that he exhibits, Mitchell Trubisky is terrible. He is toast. He is done. And only bad things can happen to this Bears organization in the short and long term if they continue to deny that truth, continue to deny the reality. And all you are doing, Bears fans, after 8 years of the Jay Cutler experience, after 6 years of the Rex Grossman experience, all you're doing is denying that history is repeating itself yet again. Like, you look at Trubisky right now, you see a guy that has massively regressed from year 2 to year number 3. We should be talking about progression and growth. And we are talking about none of that. And surely you're going to have the idiot that comes in the comments here and says, well, Trubisky was a Pro Bowler last year. And absolutely not on his own merits. When you start going through the freaking Rolodex of NFC quarterbacks, and you got 2, 3, 4 of them decide they don't want to play in the Pro Bowl game by default, eventually you're going to land on freaking Trubisky. That in no way is an indication of his actual level of performance and play last year. But maybe, just maybe, you looked at the playoff game, and you looked at that last drive, and you look at the way that Mitch clutched up, and you said to yourself, you know what? If freaking Parkey doesn't double doink, then the Bears win a playoff game, and who knows what the hell happens. Maybe things are better for him in year number 3. But that didn't happen. And we're in year 3 now. You see a guy that still can't read a defense to save his damn life. He doesn't trust his eyes. I don't know what the hell he sees. Similar problems that he had at Carolina in his 1 year, mind you, as a starter, has now carried over. And you can blame the lack of experience in college. The dude has been a starter in the league for 2.5 years now. Enough of the excuses. You're ultimately not the person that decided to trade up to take him at number 2 overall. That was general manager Ryan Pace. There's a reason so many Bears fans were outraged when they took Trubisky number 2 overall, me notably included, was because we knew the dude wasn't that damn good. And every week that goes by, you only see it more and more. Like, what's the appeal here? Why would we continue to deny that Trubisky isn't terrible? Because he is terrible. His accuracy stinks. You see this time after time after time. He underthrows guys. He significantly overthrows guys. His ball placement in general, even when he manages to happen to hit the target, is relatively piss poor on a consistent basis. You see how consistently he still locks onto his primary read and can't get off of it. He is late and slow to read and to react to anywhere on the field. Right side, left side, doesn't even matter at this point. Doesn't even matter. Like, you look at the Saints game on Sunday, and you can blame the play calling. You can blame all of this. But at some point in time, the guy's got to be better. You had Tariq Cohen, 9 catches, 19 yards. That means that everything that was being thrown to him was a freaking flat pass because your quarterback stinks! His arm strength is not special. He's got adequate arm strength at best. Well, a lot of dudes got adequate arm strength. That doesn't mean they can play. So you're talking about a guy who can't see the field, can't read defenses, is slow as hell to react. You're talking about a guy whose accuracy is waning far too often and far too significantly, with only adequate arm strength. He does not have a special cannon. Get over it if you think he does. Guys like Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, hell, even Josh Allen, they have special arm talent. They have special arm strength. Trubisky doesn't have that. And then you look at the way he comes across in the pocket. You've seen this before with Rex Grossman and Jay Cutler. Piss poor pocket presence. Folding like a house of cards in the face of pressure. We're now in year 3. We shouldn't be having these issues. He should be growing more confident in what he does, not less. Like, now you get to a point, if there is any pressure at all on Trubisky's face, he's done. The play is over. And only bad things can happen. A sack, an incompletion, or an interception, or a fumble. Nothing good's going to come from it. And then worst of all, the one somewhat special trait that you could argue that he had, easily the best trait that he's had, was his athleticism, his mobility, his ability to scramble, to extend plays, to be able to pick up yards with his feet. Well, he's not even doing that this year. Like, you could take a guy with those type of movement skills and athleticism, a below average arm, and you can still win games with him. You're not going to win games because of him, but you can still win some games with him. You're not even getting that at this point. The dude is too scared to stand in the pocket. The dude can't consistently execute reading defenses. The dude can't consistently execute by making accurate, timely throws. The dude is terrified, now it looks like, of even running. And again, you're going to blame Nagy and the play calling. And the play calling has been atrocious on so many different levels. That still doesn't change the fact, fundamentally, that the quarterback still absolutely sucks! Now, if we bring in the comparison to other quarterbacks, in his same draft class, you have Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. You cannot look at those two guys and look at Trubisky and think that things are all right here! There is clearly differentiation. Mahomes here, Watson here, Trubisky. Like, you see 2 franchise-level guys. You see 2 guys with Hall of Fame potential down the road in their careers. You see none of that with Trubisky. I talked about it coming out of college. His high-end upside to me was something like Andy frickin' Dalton. And he's not even playing to that level now. The bottom line is, if the Bears continue to stubbornly stick by Trubisky, nothing good is going to happen. For all of you idiots that came to me before early on in the year when I was talking about how bad he was and saying, wait until he balls out, what the hell are you going to say then? How many times has he balled out really in his career? What, are you going to bring up the 6 touchdown game against Tampa against that secondary that absolutely sucked? Get over it! Dude ain't balling out! We're still waiting! And even if he did magically ball out a time or two, that makes what, 3 times in 3 years? Whoopee! All that's going to happen, the longer the Bears stand by Trubisky, is they're going to waste a talented team. They're going to waste a top-level defense, and they're going to waste some good weapons on the offensive side of the ball. What you don't want to do is spend another 2 or 3 years waiting to still figure out what you should already know by now, that Trubisky ain't that dude, And in the meantime, you start losing guys because you can't fucking pay everybody. And then you're going to be a second-rate defense, a second-rate team. And oh, by the way, your fourth-rate quarterback you're not bringing back, so you still got to figure out how the hell you're going to replace him. And there are no easy answers here. What you gonna do? Bring somebody in like Cam Newton? That ain't gonna save the day no damn way. What do you do? Go and sign Kaepernick again? That ain't saving no damn day. You know, sign Bridgewater in free agency? Bridgewater is better than Trubisky, but he's no true franchise guy at this stage of his career based off of what you see. Certainly competent and better than Trubisky, but that ain't saying much. All you got to know is the Bears in no way, shape, or form can even entertain the thought of giving Trubisky a big-time extension. Not now, not next year, not 2 years from now. Because as soon as they do, they're going to live to regret it every single damn day until that contract is no longer on the books. And you guys know it. You've lived through 8 years of the Jay Cutler experience. You've lived through 6 years of the Sexy Rexy experience. If any fan base should be well qualified to understand what a buster-ass quarterback looks like, it's the Chicago Bears! Like even Jim McMahon, even the Super Bowl year, he didn't make every start. He never made every start for the Bears. He was always hurt. It was always something. So it's always something with the quarterback position and the Bears. If it's not Sid fucking Luckman, let's go back to the T formation of the 40s, for God's sakes. Trubisky is terrible. I just listed off all the things he can't do. So what the hell can he do? The answer is nothing. Except take this Bears offense and this Bears team down in flames with him. General Manager Ryan Pace, if you want to save this, at the end of the season, you have got to move on from this kid. You must draft one. If you need to bring in a veteran, that's what the hell you got to do. I do not want to sit there at now 38 years of age waiting for this Bears team to find a competent quarterback and then a couple of years from now be right back in the same damn position. Time is not guaranteed to any of us on this planet. Before I die, I would like to see my Bears win one more Super Bowl. Just one more Super Bowl. That's all I'm asking for. And in order to do that, they're going to have at least competent quarterback play. And Trubisky ain't that guy! Call it impatience due to decades of stupidity and mediocrity and horrible play at the position. But I've had it! Understand that Trubisky is a sunken cost, and you're never going to get that value back. The quicker that you do is the quicker that you have a chance. By continuing to be stubborn and petty about it and trying to stubbornly dig in your heels and say, no, we believe in him, it is clear that Matt Nagy doesn't believe in him, that offense doesn't believe in him, that defense doesn't believe in him, and most importantly of all, Mitchell Trubisky doesn't believe in himself. So if all those people don't believe in the guy, and it's clear and evident and obvious to see, why the hell should any of us, and most importantly, why the hell should Ryan Pace? There are lots of hills you can maybe argue that you want to die on. Ryan Pace, the Mitchell Trubisky as your long-term starting quarterback hill, I promise you, is one of those hills you want to roll down gently as quickly as you possibly can. You have enough other infrastructure in place that you can argue you are a championship contender. You are not that with Trubisky. And even if you turned it around this year and you got to the Super Bowl, it would largely not be because of Trubisky. And then once you got to that big game, he largely was shit bricks. Do you really, guys, in a couple of years want to be entertaining the thought of paying Trubisky $40 million a damn season? Have you seen anything that indicates that he's worthy of anything but that? No, what you've seen is what you know. Is a slightly different version of Chase Daniel, minus the pocket presence and the ability to see the field, a long-term NFL backup. Mitchell Trubisky is the midway Blake Bortles. It's time to accept it. The dude is terrible, and it is time for this organization to come to that realization and move the hell on for the sake of everybody involved.